Wow.
Now we're live.
You know what, folks? I just did this really smooth intro. It was really awesome. And I didn't click the go live button. Welcome in to Thursday Night Throwdown, where we started off as seamlessly as the usual show does.
Because remember, we're professionals, folks.
You did Comix proud.
Exactly. We did Comix proud. We really did. And shout out, first of all, to our friend Comix Division. I know that in speaking with him and everything, the messages that he sent, he seems to be on the mend well. And hopefully soon we have him back. We are holding down the fort in his stead while he's out and healing up. And again, folks, I know that things have been a little haphazard today, to say the least. As many of you know that follow me personally on social media, I've had my own issues this week. Mom's in the hospital again. It's been a crazy, wild week, and I'm really glad for the company and the escape. So thank you so much for coming in. If you are a fan of Comix Division, you will enjoy the various topics we have tonight. Oh boy, we got a cornucopia of all kind of things going on. You guys know that the media lies, as we all do. So we have tons to react to about the current events of the world, but we also, we will make fun of idiots like John Cena. We will make fun of the various changes as far as new things that just came out, which is something I know that the Authenticator wants to get into. The Sandman stuff. We will get into that. And we just got a ton for you tonight. And I've been looking forward to this all day, folks. I really have. I was actually going to do a double feature because we're going to do my usual stream, which is Pegasus Actual tonight. And, I wound up getting back late from dinner. I had dinner with a family friend, and I got in a little late for that. So we just kind of decided to hold off because we want to give that show and that particular subject matter its due and its time. So
and we had to save up energy for the Dix division. I mean, we got to hold it down right.
Yeah, truth be told, like I said, I have been absolutely amped all day to do this. I was absolutely flattered that Comix Division thought enough of me, along with Vigilante and some of the other folks, that he had run the shows in his stead. So I'm very thankful for that. I've just been raring to go all day for this. So let's welcome on in our panel for the evening. Of course, as I mentioned, we have the Authenticator. And great to be on stream with you again, sir. Good to see you this evening.
Good evening, all. Unfortunately, this is going to be more of a nightmare than a dream, I think.
Of course, as always, got the man, the myth, the legend. Always say the author, Stephen Welton. I know he's now branded to Lodonis Ravenwolf.
Right.
Just call him low dose. You'll be good.
I hate him so much. So hail to the chat. Hail to everybody out there. Nerdporial Lifeform. Hail to you. Thank you very much, sir. Yeah. And can't wait to get started tonight.
Yeah, man. Me and Bam Hammer says, "Hey, look, it's Comix Division." Oh man, I'm doing my best, man. I'm the fake Comix Division tonight.
The Dix Division needs to bring it tonight. We need you. You got to help us hold this thing up. The king is not here.
Hail, Southern Belle. Great to see you, girl.
Hey, Steven, you're gonna need both hands. You want to hold something up, brother?
I'm a little guy. I ain't ashamed of it.
Galactibalist, how are you, buddy? Great to see you. Got Zillionaire. Man, we've got the whole crew in chat. The best chat on YouTube. Jay Lee. Hail, Stone Cold Jeremy. Hail, Eric Winberg. Soul Assassin, of course. Rob Altus. Man, we got everybody in here. The Seaman. great to see you this evening. Kaylee, great to see you. Kaylee D. Mitch Rogers. Mitch, great to see you, buddy. Of course, JJ's in here. Sith Lord 3827, man. Love you, JJ. Great to see you, homie. Also, Critable the Craze. Great to see you, Crit. What's up? Scott Jennings, hail to you. Hail to, of course, Parrot Head. Crazy Cat Guy, the first one in here tonight. He popped in a little earlier before stream start. Mercale. Emperor of Corruption.
Just 1 second. I'd like to give a hail to Culture's old man jacket. What's going on with that, bro? What's up? Do you need a shawl? Are you okay?
Yeah. Right. Hail AP, Apollo Patriot. My boy that loves the Twi'lek women. Tequila.
Oh, you didn't take it off. Now he got his guns
Cooper. Out. Great to see you. Cabatano Shea, Dick's Division rolls deep and rolls deep and strives to satisfy. Yes, we do.
Yeah, yes. Remember to pick up your Dick's Division products. Yep. Use promo code GAZE.
Rock out with your wings out. That's all I gotta say about that.
Scott Jennings said, "Did he say dicks and hold it up, bro? If I tried to pick my dick up, it would take 2 hands, man.
I did too, didn't I? Oh shit! Oh my god! You know what? You didn't even introduce Culture or Vigilante. Poor Vigilante's been sitting in the corner like he's a punished child.
I am, man. I'm saying what's up to the chat. You got to be interactive, man. Hail Spencer, my colleague from Fighting Into Comics, Caboodle Rider Map. Great to see you. All right. So, of course, introducing the man, the myth, the legend, the Vigilante himself, Vigilante Williamson.
Vigilante Williamson here on another episode of Thursday Night Throwdown. I try to make that like the first thing I say, the intro, so it's kind of a cool thing. I like the overlay, by the way. It's really cool. Really
cool. Thank you.
I'm happy to be here, man. Happy to be here.
Bro, it isn't TNT without you. Come on, man. Yeah.
Cool.
And, of course, the esteemed Culture Casino, the man with the locks.
Hey, coming to you from the woods. I'm in a cabin in the woods with limited internet. So if I all of a sudden get pixely, ain't my fault. But I just want to say thank you all for being here in support of obviously us keeping this going until Comics gets back. He is on the mend. Things are going to happen. I'm very excited to be here, and I'm glad that Drew is picking up this mantle like VW did, like Nick did, like other people may have to do. I love it. Glad you guys are here. Let's go.
And yes, we are going to have the 32 Flavors of Nickweiser a little bit later. He's going to be here second hour, folks. So that'll be nice when he pops in. I've got invites out to a couple special guests if they want to join. So we'll see what transpires here this evening. Also, want to say hello to I know. There were a couple other people I thought that came in on the end. Grumpy Old Ninja, great to see you, buddy. And, of course, Godzillionaire, if I didn't mention you, hail to you, sir. All right. So, again, this channel isn't monetized. If you want to participate in any way, such as a super chat, something like that, there are a couple ways to do so. You can do the stream elements. I know that my stream elements from time to time, it drops a link for my stream elements tip page, and you can super chat that way. I can read them right off of the stream elements page, which I should probably log into, and I'll do
a good idea. You know, what's out? My God, the stupidities today. What we were talking about that backstage. A lot of things happened today.
Well, I just think
that normally goes ding had to have its bell replaced because of all the stupid.
I just can't stop picturing, when Culture says it's in a cabin in the woods. It's just like I immediately picture the Evil Dead house, and I was just saying that to him backstage because it's just the first thing that I think of when cabin in the woods. I'm like, oh, it's Evil Dead.
Does he have that like Innocent Psycho look to you? Is that what it is? Like limbs hanging
and again, Culture. If you ever find that freaking book, and you don't send it to me, I will be very mad at you.
No, I know
Everyone in
you're
the chat, if you ever find an obscure grimoire, I am the resident occult expert in these here parts. So
Look,
so we're all clear about jurisdictional issues here.
I promise you, you will be the recipient of that book. Okay.
There'll be squid monsters falling out of the sky by like next week.
You know what?
Yeah,
it's better than the current monsters.
Here's the problem with every supernatural horror movie. They always call the supernatural expert in the second act after everything has gone to hell. If you just send it to, say, an occult expert to begin with, then we abort horror movies from the get-go. So put it in the hands of someone who actually knows how to use the freaking thing.
It's like going to a marriage counselor before you're married, though.
Yeah,
but if you do that, then you won't get stuck in a loveless marriage and then be divorced 2 years later and be paying a bunch of alimony. So that does actually sound like a decent idea, now, doesn't it?
I mean,
I also want to say,
probably best bet not to get married at all. To be fair,
there's a lady holding it down.
You know, you're not wrong about that.
Not in 2021.
Beware the Drew, lady.
In 1921 maybe, but in 2021 not.
I had 2 engagements in my life. I came close, but thankfully I found out before I took the walk the kind of people that they were. So I was like, well, somebody was looking out for me one way or the other. I do want to say thank you to my newer subscribers. I see on the feed here on Stream Elements, Crazy Cat Guy subscribed a couple hours ago.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate your support. Appreciate your well wishes.
Wow.
Glad you think of us.
Thank you for
so
the
highly.
sub, Billy K. Thank you for the sub, Mutant Bamhanner, Godzillionaire, and also Kaylee. Welcome, subscribers. Thank
Billy
you so
K,
much.
like the one wrestler, because I mean we just talked about.
Well, if
XY.
it was Billy K, then
I'm sending Tom a link. That bastard.
Okay.
I'm gonna start off like that.
Because I was like, if you're talking about XYs, if I remember, she's kind of hot, so she's ex-wifeable. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. Hey, listen. I'm just glad that I found out ahead of time, because usually if you find out after the fact, it's minus half your stuff.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with being the Buffalo Bills in that situation. Sometimes you don't want a ring. Sometimes you don't want the ring.
Yeah, to be the Buffalo Bills. Yes, that should strive to be the Buffalo Bills of relationships.
Yes, you get as close as you can without a ring as you possibly can, as often as possible. I'm serious. You'll do better.
Oh man,
keep more of your money.
No offense to anybody in upstate.
And you listen, if you got a marriage that work, you better hold on to it, because you have like a piece of gold, because it doesn't.
That's a unicorn.
It's a unicorn. And you better not fuck it up, culture.
Look,
I'm just joking. Shout out to the boss. Shout out to the boss.
Yeah, hail to the boss.
Hail to the boss.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She's actually in the living room. So I'm in the TV room. She's in the living room. So
yeah. Hail, Dexy Doodle. Great to see you. Oh, you're a little late. You're not late. We were probably late as well. So don't feel bad. Speaking for the dead. Great to see you, Keck. Awesome, man. I know you were in here before. Great to see you, buddy. You
guys missed the awesome intro.
It was incredible.
Oh my god.
But it was backstage only, so you didn't get a chance to see it. Drew was eloquent and right on top of things.
Right on top of it, yeah.
Right on top. Right.
Godzillionaire says, amateurs, that's why you marry rich. You end up with half the stuff.
My man.
What's up, Rob Altus?
Lagubula says, my favorite wife is my ex-wife. Nice.
I think there's a lot of people who could say that.
Oh, man.
Y'all's pickers are broken.
The C-Man says, married 20 years here. She's a hot nurse.
Dig that, brother.
Congratulations.
Nice, dude. Nice.
It's cool to hear about lottery winners.
Yes,
that's right. That's right.
Paul Patriot said I should date some Europe women, maybe Greek women.
Yeah,
yeah. Hey, I tell you what, Trouble's here. What's up, Trouble?
Hey, Dad.
What up?
Yeah. How are you, Tom?
I'm doing all right. How you kids doing?
Yeah.
Did I, Mom? I don't like this.
Sorry to hear about your mom being in the hospital again there.
Oh, dude, it has been a week of crazy time. I'll talk to you about it behind the scenes, man. It's just, I feel like that poor lady, when it rains, it pours, and we're just, we're going through all that. Right. Hail to Eric Winberg. Thank you so much for the $2. We'll see if you got something. His comment on the Stream Elements page says, thank you for taking this on. Hail Dick's Division.
Hail the Dick's Division.
Nice.
Right. So what are we talking about?
Why you be trying to divide the dicks, yo?
I'm not trying to divide the dicks. Dicks are strong. Unified.
Dark Pastor said, Dark Pastor says, releasing chapter 3 of the Frantic Writings of Theodore Pendergrass tomorrow night. Nice.
Awesome.
It's Teddy Pendergrass, motherfucker. Oh man,
you got what I need.
What did we get to talk about first? Because I can't be here all night. I'm sorry, Drew, guys. I'm sorry, guys, but I did show up for a little while. I'm working. I gotta get up early. I'm working like 100 miles away.
Oh man, dude, that was legendary. By the way, AP. Yeah, there was one time, y'all, that I was doing a stream with Wes Moody. Shout out to Wes Moody. And we were just going through Twitch live streams, and we came across like some crazy, like methed out Twitch thought that was cooking, and we were just
oh,
fixated.
Man.
They cook now?
Fixated. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, this was an amazing stream. I was in on this. I thought it was incredible. I'm like, that girl is cooking badly, but she's cooking on her stream in her weird kitchen. Yeah, look.
Talking about Ocasio-Cortez?
No, this chick had an ankle bracelet on, bro. Like,
that's par for the course, man. It's 2021. What do you expect, man?
House arrest.
What do you expect,
dude? Wait. Just for fun, and this is not a topic for today's discussion, but I read today that science is going to have it so that you will actually do 1,000 years in prison in 8 hours. They're going to like plug your brain into
Star Trek shit.
Wasn't that a plot point in the cryostasis in Demolition Man?
It was, but
God, that movie was taken as an instruction manual.
Dude, this is a play-by-play of that movie right now. We're living it.
No, that was acting a fool.
That was the DS9 episode, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, O'Brien was
the one with Chief O'Brien.
The real difference between this and Demolition Man is instead of sex being illegal, you're expected to fuck everybody.
Well, okay, but remember, guys, the Demolition Man future took place in 2032, and the hyper strict authoritarianism was a response to people burning down things in the streets. So, yeah, we're still on track to there by about.
No, we beat that. We beat that
about 10 years ago. So yeah,
science fiction isn't fiction; it's predictive programming.
Yeah, a lot of it.
It's prophecy. Basically,
I didn't see Elliot's pecs in the Demolition Man though.
Yeah, you're
right. It was. Look, I have to say, I'm going to say this out loud in front of people. I really didn't want to see Elliot's pecs.
No.
Oh man, you're talking about Elliot Page?
I did not sign up for Elliot's pecs.
No. Elliot Page will beat your ass, man.
Why?
Gregory Peck better. Elliot's pecs
with the chicken legs.
To Elliot, but like,
dude, ab implants. 6 words. Ab implants. Oh wait, that's not 6.
Can you imagine
ab implants and Anavar does not make a badass, man.
Can you imagine trying to watch a movie like Bullet with Steve McQueen now?
Oh, dude, yeah.
That would be like a portrait of toxic masculinity.
Yes.
Look. If I can get shit starting to film in like September for my shit, it's gonna be like, oh man, there's old Hollywood, because I'm gonna break shit. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be like B level. So don't expect much. It's gonna, but there will be some special effects.
It's a great way to boost yourself up. Don't expect much. Come on, man.
I'm just saying I'm just saying, sci-fi, horror, western, done.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, and
Speaking
that's
of
awesome.
things you need to start filming culture, authentic culture stream when?
Okay,
Oh,
I'm gonna
man.
be out of town. I tell you what, I get back in town. Okay, so by end of June. So shoot for somewhere around the 20th. Hit DM me up, and we'll thumbnail it together, and I will be there, man.
Yeah,
I'll be there.
I've been sending you possible things to
Oh,
cover
dude,
in it. for
I
like
know.
3
My DMs were full of extra stupidity today. I was like, oh my god, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you. No, seriously. We'll do it. Authentic culture. It'll be beautiful.
Any catfish pics in there?
Yeah.
No. Oh my god.
This has been a hell of a week for catfish, huh?
Just fake
Yeah,
hot Asian
dude.
women.
You know, look, the right way to go after catfish is called noodling. I did not expect to get the noodle in that process, and that seems to be what happened.
Gotcha.
We're all going to hell.
baby.
Man.
I didn't know. Nobody
Speaking of-
knowed.
No, but I
Yeah,
didn't know.
Oh,
nobody knew,
lusted after
dude.
someone with a penis and balls. But
There
speaking of-
were, I guess.
You did it.
lots of
You're
people-
gay. You're like this much gay, Vigilante, right now. How do
No.
you feel about that?
No, I never listen because I'm in a semi-MGTOW mode. It luckily saved me from any simping, so I didn't respond to anything. I think I interacted with the person once, and I think I was one of them was on Culture Stream. So thank Culture.
No, it wasn't my stream. No,
Was
it was
not
a
yours?
gaming stream. No, it was Ords. It was Ords.
I don't know if I've ever been on Or's channel.
Okay, then it was Mary's. It wasn't me. It can't have been me. I tried to get Gixie, whatever that
Gixie?
thing was. I tried to get that
Jared.
thing on my show
It was
once.
Jared. The person's name
Yes.
is Jared.
I tried to get
Jared.
Jared on the stream one time. Of course, that's not what I thought. But yeah. So, but it didn't work out. So I'm just saying.
Well, I used to have a crush on Elliot Page back in the day. Speaking of
Elliot Page, dude.
Told you,
Okay,
dude, just
so
getting a
I
little
just thought
wider,
about something about
Vigilante.
X-Men.
Just getting a little
X-Men,
wider.
Doesn't she dates Iceman and X-Men? So now it works.
I have some problems. Okay, so wait. You ever
What are
see
your
the film Juno?
I did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, if you were the actor playing the dude that got her nailed up, right? And
Michael
did
Cera.
you see? Yeah. What are you? You have to do like a bunch of mental gymnastics now to try to figure out
Oh God.
what was happening there.
Oh God.
Right?
She wasn't male presenting at the time. I think it's fine.
Is that how? I don't know.
I don't. What? So wait a
I don't know the
minute.
rules either.
What? So, wait a minute. So in addition to getting the waxed off
Your
breast
hair's
assistance-
smoking, man.
Oh, I know. She had the addictomy.
Added.
No, I don't. It's a stretchy. It's like a stretchy and a foldy. I think.
I don't know how this
fairly
works.
certain that is not what that is called, but okay.
Oh, what is? Are you sure that's not what it's called?
It should be. If we lived in a world that made sense, that's what it would be called. But alas, we live in Orwell's nightmare. So here we are.
Just a little.
Stop being istophobes.
Mm.
I wasn't. I was asking a question with words and stuff.
No,
That's
no.
istophobic.
You know,
You're just
my
supposed to know.
my
What do they
response.
do with the hole? It's like they stuff it with gauze. There's like a lot of empty space going on.
Actually, no. So here's the thing, and let's be a little bit serious. We have people that we hang out with. We have people that we hang out with in the community who have gone through transition, and yeah, and we love them, and they hang out with us, and we get to ask them questions, and we have them on streams because they'll tell us. Right now, nobody's here. Well, I mean, Tom's here. Tom.
Dude, we
Actually-
josh with everybody gets josh with in the community.
Well,
you know,
fuck, I do now.
Actually, Tom
Everybody.
could answer that question.
Y'all
Does
make
Michael
coffee.
Cera even have a career anymore?
No, we already had one, and then now we got Elliot Page, so we don't need another one.
And yeah, what's his name? The
See,
Mark
Michael Cera
Zuckerberg.
should have tried to win an Oscar.
What's the guy that played Lex Luthor and Mark Zuckerberg? And he's
Oh,
like the
that
better
guy.
Michael Cera.
Yeah, we have
He-
him too.
Yeah, he replaced Michael Cera. I can't think of his
Yeah,
name.
he really did. He was.
who was that
You know
guy?
what? He was good in Now You See Me, and Now You
He
See
was.
Me
That
Too.
was a very good movie.
Yeah.
What is his name? Somebody knows this guy's name.
That guy.
I'm not Googling it.
Yeah.
I refuse. He doesn't.
I don't know. Fuck.
Jesse Eisenberg.
Jesse Eisenberg is this guy's name.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you,
Jesse
Scott Jennings.
Eisenberg, yeah.
I just Iceberg.
Yeah, because they'll sink your movie.
Jesse Eisenberg and Michael Cera stand there and do that Spider-Man meme. That's pretty much that.
Oh, look, guys. Lord Runner is in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah, he's now
Runner is in the chat.
No,
we
he's
do not
elevated
grant
to
him.
a lord.
No.
Yeah,
I do
You're
not
lordship
grant him.
runner.
I do not
As the
grant
king
him
of
the
Detroit,
title.
I recognize your rule.
Yeah. No.
What if he bought a square foot of land in Scotland? Because apparently you can do that now, and they're just giving lordly titles away.
If it's a
Really?
technicality, then I suppose.
But then again, I guess Alistair
Bird.
Crowley did that when he bought Moleskine, and nobody complained. So meh.
Oh man!
Look, I have not granted you the title of Lord. You have not earned the title of Lord.
Jeez, I didn't know who you.
Like
were
I'm
the
saying,
branch
just buy
of
a square foot of land in Scotland, and then he'll have to
accept that.
actually be one.
I'm just saying. Look, if you have this hair,
In a gray bush.
Way more information than I
floors,
needed.
bro. Hardwood floors, bro.
Yeah,
Way
I know.
more.
Is it
Still
really?
more information than I could
For a
use.
Brazilian, you just
So John Cena is in China.
Yeah. All right, go ahead, Vigilante.
Oh,
Mhm.
Yeah, VW. Sorry.
actually, if you want to talk about it,
You
John
have the
Cena
floor, sir.
sucks. John Cena sucks. I'm sorry, that's the
That sounds-
wrestling. That's his
It
Yeah,
sounds
wrestling.
like his
so-
intro. Sounds
so-
like
It
his
is
intro.
his
Yeah,
intro.
It was inevitable. That would be.
So in the worst case of simping for China that I've seen probably since LeBron James, it would be John Cena, and to sit there and basically apologize to the CCP is just mind-boggling to me. When there are literal concentration camps where people are dying that nobody talks about
Yeah,
in the
Uyghur
news
Muslims.
whatsoever. All right, this guy is sitting there literally apologizing to communist China for possible offense.
Oh, it was an
They
offense.
were
Okay,
pissed at him, too.
let's go over what that offense was, just to be clear. Because if he had actually said something genuinely like insulting, I might grant the need for an apology and whatever. But what he said was simply an implication that Taiwan was its own independent country, which it is. Fuck you, CCP.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I know a number of us here. We all, most free-thinking people, mind you, supported Hong Kong, supported the struggle against the CCP. Period.
Yeah.
And
And Taiwan's fight since the 50s to be independent and to operate independently.
Yeah, it's called
Yes.
Taiwan for a reason. It means free people or free place. That's literally what Taiwan translates to, roughly.
Yeah, and for him to sit there and literally, well, we've always, I think, in our own ways, in obviously Tom on Midnight's Edge, you guys on your individual channels, myself at Bounding, and on my channel, we've all called out Hollywood for simping for the Chinese. But I think John blatantly put it on display as to what many of them are like, the degree that they'll go to. Like, they have no moral backbone or ability to stand up and draw a line in the sand and say, okay, I can't support that.
To be fair to him, I do not think it was in any way his idea. I think it was his manager or his publicist or someone in authority over him.
Absolutely, Warner Brothers
Told him to do it, and he didn't have the wherewithal to think it through. Because let's face it, professional athletes who get their heads kicked in for a living aren't all that all that gifted upstairs. Let's just be entirely honest about that.
Juan Cena has been simping for China since he was in the WWE. People were talking about how did he learn Mandarin. He learned Mandarin as a part of being a WWE guy and promoting it in China. So this isn't. He knew what he was doing.
It's not new. He's done multiple videos prior to this on YouTube. You can find them. I think Jeremy at G&G found one, or maybe it was Ryan that I had found a couple days like right after this all happened. And it was, essentially, I'm a citizen of this, Waichan. I feel like I'm a Chinese citizen.
Nice play on words.
But he's done a lot of these types of things, and being as fluent as he is in Mandarin. Damn impressive. So I agree with Stone Cold Jeremy here. It is the biggest heel turn that I think in real life. I mean, this it's a real life heel turn. It's a real bummer too, because I mean this guy is a record setter for Make-A-Wish stuff. He's a quality charitable human.
By all accounts, he's a nice guy, and maybe that's what it was. He just, wanted to go along to get along, because there's a lot of people, especially nice people, who are like that, who are just like, I don't want to, be on anyone's bad side. I just want to go along to get along.
But the finances behind this, and Tom can speak more to this even than I can. He could have cost or is costing F9 hundreds of millions of dollars potentially, and. Yeah. Warner Brothers, so that's Universal and Warner Brothers with Suicide Squad. He is giving them the fist of love in the future because again, you already saw how soft the Chinese are when it comes to showing American films or getting offended by something so minute that they're willing to
they're very
not being actually Tibetan, because Tibet is another country that they say they own because reasons.
Friggin' President Xi, he gets bent out of shape just for the Winnie the Pooh meme. So,
but Tom,
it's hard to find those memes now. Thank you, Google.
Because they banned them in China, but. He can just go ahead and be bothered by it, I'm afraid, because he looks like Winnie the Pooh, and he's a head of a communist dictatorship, so my respect-o-meter has officially hit negative values at that point. Like, no, fuck you, instantaneously.
But you're talking about an ex-wrestler turned actor who's making a statement about an international affair.
I mean, you're going to $50 million.
You're going to have weight. You're going to have leverage coming at you from different directions, and you're in that position. I mean, really, we don't know. But go ahead.
No. I tried to lead Tom into the conversation there with because of the finances of it all.
Script doctor spoke well about that.
Well, isn't it, Tom? Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't
culture? I'm sorry.
Isn't Tencent still heavily involved in the movie business?
They might be. I mean, Wanda, I know, has been pulling out quite a bit.
Yeah, Wanda Group has been all up in everybody's everything for at least the last couple of years.
Well, I know Tencent is like the huge Chinese entertainment company, and they own
Take that.
Oh God, they own everything, dude. They're ridiculous. The force that they are.
They're Chinese Google, essentially, is what it amounts to.
Or whatever,
yeah. Hail the Godzillionaire.
Well, Google's the Chinese Google, but that I know what you mean.
I mean, we as people who pay attention to all of these things, of course, the weight of the camps and things like that are going to be prevalent in our minds. We're talking about him having to make a decision that probably affected many other people. And from his history, I don't think he's a bad dude. I think he put himself in a bad spot. That is an international. That's a cause for international alarm, or could be, and he was just trying to protect. I think he was trying to protect others. I mean, it's a
little bit like the Zack Snyder thing that happened when they had the stream on Geeks and Gamers. I think that was more due to the fact of all the peer pressure and all the people around him were like, "Dude, you can't honestly be in favor of those people, can you?"
Well, I disagree, because Zack could have just not done it, and fuck Zack Snyder because he tripled down on it. So, I get where you're coming from, But there's a difference. Like John Cena had to do promotionals. Zack Snyder could have just said, you know what? It's a week out. I can't do it, guys. And that would have been it. It'd have sucked, but that would have been much better than what he did.
Well, whenever they put out a new production, that's standard. They always do a promotion blitz with the cast. So,
and to be fair, I think the movie's already made like 150 million over there.
Oh yeah, no, it eclipsed 160, right?
Oh, already 160. Jesus.
Nice.
Which movie?
Fast Furious 9.
Yeah.
Sheesh. That's why they're not bending the knee for nothing.
Yeah, Heretic Prince, you're not wrong, sir. That's what they find important. But the thing is they're so beholden to the Chinese. You would figure they would at least try and cloak that a little bit, but they don't even try to cloak that anymore. I mean, they fall over themselves to like, I'm sorry, poor China, to offend you.
Well, they've got it coming from three different vectors here. You've got the one vector of China is actually financially significant to Hollywood, which is the first vector. Then you've got the fact that a lot of people in the entertainment industry actually are in favor of softcore communism, which means that by rights they should be philosophical allies. Then you've got the social justice angle of they're Asian, they're an Asian foreign power, and therefore, so they are incredibly
racist, xenophobic humans. I mean, at least the government is, not the people themselves, but the government is.
Yeah, I know.
And you're talking about champagne socialists. So
true.
And I mean that's the problem with elitists at any level is they consider themselves above you even if their elitism isn't based on anything that is attached to their intellect. That's a problem.
Well, it's gotten even worse in recent years. It's basically become we're better than you, but don't ever expect us to actually have the merits of actually being better than you. It's the one way in which I kind of wish we could go back to the old school aristocracy rather than this new school cultural aristocracy that we have, because at least before there was the concept of noblesse oblige, where nobles were beholden to their subjects to actually have skills and merits and things, and also you had things like classical education and civic humanism, whereby it was your duty as a monarch, as a noble, to actually have intellectual interest and be philosophically well-rounded and have skills and shit. Whereas now, they want all the clout, all the pomp and circumstance, but with none of the meritocracy, and in fact, they find it philosophically impossible that meritocracy could even be a thing.
Which is funny because some of these people have had the education of like a doorstop, especially when you're talking about actors and stuff, because they're taught in their trailers between scenes. So it's funny because the people that work their way up through Hollywood, the Hollywood system, lift themselves up by their own bootstraps, actually go to university, things like that, which is why a lot of European actors, especially the English folks, are more respected, is because they've actually worked their way through an education.
They have the skills. I mean, find me a major actor in Britain who isn't from freaking Oxford or Cambridge. I'll wait.
Very good point. And that's the reason they get all our acting jobs. Most of the actors now are British, and they deserve to be. They put more work.
That accent's
you get British actors, you get Australian actors, you get. I mean, the international acting community is huge here in the United States, and that's not. I mean, there's a lot of economic factors that are involved in that as well. And that's kind of the bigger picture. I mean, John Cena is protecting a paycheck. He made. Very I mean, ultimately, that's the decision-making process, in my opinion. Now, Script Doctor says some very complimentary things about John Cena, so I'm willing to give him a little bit more benefit of the doubt, right? But at the same time, what your words are being used as. Whenever you're dealing with a country that operates on propaganda, they're going to use your words in 100,000 different ways.
Especially given what he was actually apologizing for, which I personally find the fact that he apologized not to be the major issue. The thing that gets my goat, metaphorically speaking, is what he was forced to apologize for, which was simply acknowledging Taiwan exists and would prefer that China get the fuck out, please.
Except that he didn't quite say it that way. He just said that.
No, he was a lot nicer than I was, but even just acknowledging the existence of Taiwan just gets everyone's hackles up. It's why in Doctor Strange, the Ancient One was an androgynous white woman, and they moved her to Nepal rather than Tibet, because we can't acknowledge that Tibet exists, because it's Haram.
But I do feel like you make a good point. Like, John Cena is a individual human being who, like, he had no choice but to apologize. As much as we're talking about him bending the knee, it was either apologize or quit acting and never do Hollywood again. Like, that was really what his choice was. Yeah. If he would have said, no, I'm not going to apologize for political reason, he would have been fucked his career.
And lose other people money, too.
Look what they did.
You're right.
Look what they did to James Gunn over jokes that he made a decade ago when he was an edgy trauma brat. And now think about what they might have done to John Cena had he been like, no, I simply said that Taiwan was a country and I don't think that's a controversial statement. Boom. He gets booted out of the second Suicide Squad movie. They have to reshoot it. He gets never, called by any studio ever again, or at least not until China goes belly up. And, he basically wades into obscurity.
Yeah. And so it is, you do have to balance that element to it. That's like, okay, he's kind of in a rock and a hard place. The real issue is that our studios have been so in bed with China for so long that is now the standard, that if you're not bending the knee to China, your career is over. That's the issue. We should have never, and this is decades old. The whole Fast and Furious franchise has been, a China tentpole for a decade and a half now.
Yep.
So, like, we've been doing this for years and years, and so now that's where we are. Where if an actor were to dare say anything about China, his career is over. And if just to pivot a little bit, mention LeBron James. If you guys remember last year, there was a GM. He was initially for the Houston Rockets.
Yeah, Daryl Morey.
Daryl Morey. Yeah, I think he's now with Philly. But yeah, he basically lost that Houston. Well, there's other reasons he lost the Houston.
He got blackballed.
But he got blackballed. Yeah, he got blackballed for basically a season because
LeBron opened up his mouth and made a big deal of it.
LeBron, look, and here's the problem, and these people lack the intellectual honesty to recognize that this country, China, utilizes forced labor amongst many other incredibly inhumane practices.
LeBron knows well. He knows how his shoes are made.
Well, then that makes him a bigger POS than you could even imagine. So.
And
Bucky Moore says, Amanda Milius' daughter, John, hold on one second, bro, has a good take on elites in Hollywood and they're simping for China. Yeah, I'll have to check that out, Bucky. Thank you.
Not to mention, though, that the first victims of the CCP are China itself. Because I actually really love the history of the country of China, and I love the history of the culture of China. The problem being, there hasn't been any for about a century ever since Mao and his cronies took over, because the CCP are a bunch of cunts. And thereby, my sympathies primarily, when it comes to the CCP, lie with the Chinese people, because they're getting constantly screwed over by the CCP.
Yeah, Stone Cold Jeremy says, James Gunn is a bad example. They just put him in the back out of sight until controversy died down. Now he's back directing again. And yeah, certain people, you're right about that, Stone Cold Jeremy. They get, 15, 20 chances like that. As long as they're good soldiers, quote unquote, and they march with the narrative, they will always get a chance down the road. They'll just take their little leave for a while, and then, they're back like nothing ever happened. And Crazy Cat Guy, thank you. If there's a comment with that, I'll read it. Hold on, let me.
Now see, there I disagree slightly, because remember the backlash to when James Gunn got yeeted. Had there been no backlash like that, he would have stayed canceled. I don't think it was a case of he had second and third chances. I think his co-stars and the people he worked with made enough of a stink about it that they had to do something. And that's why James Gunn got the second chance he got. I don't think it had to do with him getting lucky. I think it had to do with everyone around him knowing him well enough to go, if you screw with James, I'm leaving, basically was the sentiment for a while.
Yeah, it was. He did have a lot of people that stuck up for him. I get it, but doesn't mean it was right. That's the thing. And Godzillionaire brings up a good point right here. James Gunn bent the knee. That's how he came back. Yeah, well, he proved time and again, same as it seems like they always have like this virtue test that is constantly hanging over people in Hollywood, because if you don't march with the narrative, guess what? You are going to face being blackballed. You may never work again.
It's a sword of Damocles issue. You never know when the sword's coming down on you, but if you don't play exactly in line, the sword's coming down sooner or later.
Yeah. Yeah, Kritzbull, you're not wrong about that. It sucks because like with what happened in World War II, if Chiang Kai-shek could have held influence a lot better than he did, I think that and had a chance to influence culture a lot more, I think it would have changed things, but sadly, many people went the other way, and we see the results of that in modern times. So it's sad. Rob Altus brings up an interesting thing. Katy Perry apparently had a concert in Taiwan, held up a Taiwanese flag to fire up the audience. Now she's uninvited to go to China. Yeah, it's
Wow.
crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
To be honest with you, that's a good thing, because as Tom will tell you, script doctor, anybody who's in the industry, Cameron Pasha, whatever, the China deal's not good for Hollywood. I mean, they like the China bucks, they like the notoriety and all of that, but financially, it's not as big a deal as they make it out to be.
They don't get as big of a cut. And who would ever think I would agree with Katy Perry with something? What a time to be alive.
There you go.
Sometimes you're a paper bag floating in the wind.
Hey, I think low-dose has to go. He needs another dose of whatever low-dose testosterone he's getting.
I have work and I got to be up early.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But thank you, guys. Thank you, Drew, for having me. Thank you, Comix Division, for showing up. Please share out the link, smash the like, continue to support all these people, and even Tom.
Plug your channel, sir.
Check me out. My channel name was changed from author Stephen Walton to Lodonis right there. So if you're interested, come check me out. And please support all these wonderful channels. Share out links to your favorite YouTubers. Be good to each other. Peace.
Yeah. See you later, Lodos.
Wash your hands and wash your ass. I'm sorry.
Later, guys. Yeah, guys, check out Lodos, as in Lodos Testosterone. He's doing big things over there. Check him out.
All right, and while we're engaged in the portion of the program that is Exit Stephen Walton, I'll take the opportunity to suggest a topic switch, because I want to talk about the Sandman thing. Oh my God, you guys, why?
Yeah, so go ahead and expound on this authenticator. I know you were waiting to talk about this, so you have the floor, sir. Go ahead.
For those that need clarification on just how big of a Sandman fan that I am, I have an entire shelf in my room that is just Neil Gaiman Sandman related stuff, up to and including the 10th anniversary statue, which is around $600, and the DC Vertigo Tarot, which yes exists. There's an actual tarot deck, and I own it because I am that much of a weirdo nerd. But that being as it may, Sandman is my favorite comic, and anytime there is an adaptation of Sandman, I am the first and most critical voice in the room. And there was some casting announcements a couple days ago, and I am, shall we say, nonplussed by which I mean the inner child of my, the child that grew up on Neil Gaiman's Sandman is screaming internally right now.
So let me guess.
Not for the reasons you might think.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, I think, when the casting announcements were made, focused on the wrong things.
Well, let me guess. They reeked of diversity and inclusion.
Okay. To an extent, there is that. But that doesn't make me quite as mad because Neil Gaiman was always like that, and more to the point, Sandman was kind of always like that. Sandman was a pioneer back in the 80s and 90s as to how genuinely edgy it was for the time. Now, this was back during the Satanic Panic and the rise of the punk movement. So you can imagine the kind of content that Sandman has. Up to and including an entire side cast of characters who are basically the SJW wet dream. See, every SJW artist, I am convinced of this. They either want to be the next Watchmen because of all the deconstructive woo bullshit, or they want to be the next in a line of stories that started with Neil Gaiman's Game of You, which was a story that focused on an entire side cast of characters. It was basically SJW Friends, if anyone remembers the Friends show. It was a bunch of characters in an apartment together, and through a series of shenanigans, they got drawn into the deeper politics of the dream dimension that Dream rules over. So the diversity itself doesn't bother me. There are a couple things, however, that do bother me, and I'm going to cite them.
Authenticator, before you go on, we got some great comments. So, Crucible says Joanna Constantine.
Okay. No, guys, I literally have to mention about Joanna, because here's the thing. In the comics, Joanna Constantine was John Constantine's ancestor, and so her being included in the Sandman cast makes sense and is not and should not be, and if it ever turns out that it is the case that she's replacing him, I will be the first one to be pissed off. But Joanna Constantine already existed in the Sandman comics, just like John, and they were both in different parts of the story because, of course, the Endless are immortal, and Dream had shenanigans going on basically all throughout history. So
I know, we're just having fun with it.
Yeah, the fact that Joanna is involved in the Sandman does not preclude John showing up later. And by the way, if Matt Ryan is cast as John Constantine, then I will riot. But that's a different story. But that doesn't preclude John from showing up actually earlier, because John shows up before Joanna in the story. But never mind. The thing that bothers me about Joanna Constantine, as per the casting, is she is being played, heaven help us, by Jenna freaking Coleman. And as someone who is also a massive Doctor Who fan, or was right before Chibnall and the bland actress they got to play the 13th Doctor showed up, I remember Clara. I, like every other Doctor Who fan in the world, didn't like Clara, and would very much like if Jenna Coleman would stop acting, please, because she cannot act her way out of a paper bag.
No, she's not great. Not great at all.
But by far the worst casting, however, was Patton Oswalt as Dream's right-hand entity, known as Matthew the Raven. Why in all the gods?
Well, you can't have a good modern 2020s project without having Patton Oswalt cast in it to virtue signal for you.
No, you very much can, and I will kill anyone who says otherwise. But because I am that much of a Sandman fanboy. But why, for one, why is Matthew being played by a comedian at all? Because he was kind of the straight man to all of the cosmic, weird, strange, mystical weirdness that is the Sandman. But why, if you had to have a comedian, if you absolutely had to have one, why Patton Oswalt? Because this may be because I just got finished watching MODOK the other day for Hulu, and he plays MODOK in that. And the only question that was left sane in my head after watching MODOK, by the way, was why in all the gods did they get Patton Oswalt to play MODOK?
Well,
but little did I know that was actually going to get worse, because now they've upgraded him from MODOK to Matthew the Raven, and I can't even.
Well, just all you have to do is pay attention to how he killed Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and that was bad. That was as bad as it was. Oh God! So yeah, the stuff for Sandman is just and I could tell from the way Authenticator talks about it. I mean, like me personally, I'm not into the franchise, but I can understand because there's been plenty of things, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. included, where I wanted to really enjoy that show, and I did for a time at the beginning, and then when they brought in idiots like Patton Oswalt and changed the humor in the show, where the writing became, anti, Orange Man the whole time, and just crap jokes and trying to have like, wagging your finger at the audience, teaching the lessons of wokeness. And it's just, I'm so sick of that. When, I want to see a show, that is not the stuff I want. And thankfully, like Superman and Lois has been a pleasant surprise because it hasn't had hardly any of that.
As long as you ignore the kids and their annoying personal drama that makes me want to slap the both of them all the time.
Yeah, it's typical. You know what though? I can handle that, Authenticator, because more of that is typical teen angst as opposed to 2020 wokeness.
Right. That's fair. That's fair.
And I can deal with that better.
So they do get into a little bit of orange man bashing territory with Morgan Edge and the obvious redneck hillbilly character who's just there to give strawman Trump supporter arguments.
I mean, I get that part of it, but it doesn't beat you over the head, and that was it is
better than 90% of the other stuff. I'm just saying it's not entirely without sin in the woke front there.
That's the difference, at least with Superman and Lois. I could sit down and watch that, and I can't say that for the other stuff. Oh God, Cab. Go ahead, Vigilante.
No, I just had a question about Superman and Lois because I haven't watched it because after WandaVision, I need a full season of a show and a bunch of people to verify it's good before I check something out.
That's fair. The ending of WandaVision was
oh God,
was too much. But like it's come back, and is it still good? Because a lot of people were worried that break would add wokeness.
It's been good so far that I've watched it. Now I haven't seen since it came back because obviously I haven't had the opportunity to sit down and catch up on my viewing.
Better, man.
But yeah, when I do, I'll let you know. But up until that point, it's been a very pleasant surprise. And I don't give that praise easily because you guys know me. I'm very, very, very on the anti-woke train. So if it's too woke for me, I'm not going to watch it. And I'm very happy that show isn't that way. So I've been actually enjoying that, and it may be the last representation of Superman we see on the screen that's not like ridiculously race swapped or something else. So that's another reason.
You know what? I wonder if that new cell or new company, whatever the hell that Discovery thing is going to change that. I'm hoping it does. It probably won't, but I have hope.
Yeah,
maybe.
I've seen the couple of episodes that Superman and Lois has had since it came back. I don't see any more wokeness than it previously had. And like I said, I've always been put off by the teen angst bullshit. But if you were fine with the teen angst bullshit before the comeback, then you'll be fine with whatever is coming out so far. of the comeback.
Yeah, hail brightest day. Great to see you, buddy. Matt Miller, thank you so much for the sub. Resvergam says I'd like to see Chloe Bennett's blossom, but that's about it. Dude, I am not going to disagree with you on that. Listen, Chloe Bennett is a hottie, not gonna lie. Her personality and politics may be a major turnoff, but God, she's not hard on the eyes.
We talked about ex-wives earlier. It doesn't work out in the end.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Oh God, Vigilante. I got tales to tell you, my friend. I once briefly dated this Asian gal, and she was from California. She was actually attending UCLA, and she had come up here, because we had wanted to meet. We had been talking for some time, and this was back, I want to say, around 2006, 2007, something like that. So wokeness really wasn't a big issue, but still, even back then, there were weird California, liberals, and she was one, as I found out, as we had conversations, and we got onto, I think, a topic. We were sitting in the middle of Denny's just having a discussion, and she thought that it was bad to discipline a dog by just whapping them with the newspaper across the snout. And I said, well, that's common. It's not bad. And she said, well, that's abusive. I was like, well, what about putting a child in timeout? She said, well, you can't do that. And I was like, what? Well, how do you expect them to learn consequences for their actions?
No wonder badass kids now.
Comic chat. Hail, Danny. What's up?
Hail, Danny. That's why Danny's so busy, because we got all these kids that aren't raised.
But
and then they had to see Danny.
But her attitudes and her it was just way the hell out there. And this was the first time I really full on up close, like actually, in person had
witnessed
dealt with
the crazy, witnessed the virus spreading,
witnessed a California liberal people.
Yeah, California is 10 years ahead of wokeness. So she probably was just modern woke, but in 2006.
So hail Toxic Man Flu, man! Thank you so much.
Oh, whoa, Toxic Man.
Hey,
Flu.
Toxic
Man Flu with the $50 tip.
You did last week for me too, so thanks, Tox.
Yeah,
supporting everybody.
Yeah, thank you so much. And he's also in here modding tonight, folks. So hats off to TMF.
Hail Toxic Grand Flu.
And yeah, it was just crazy, And listen, it was fun meeting her. It was fun, the things that we did when we were hanging out together. But man, after like 4 days of hanging out with this chick, I was so glad that she decided to hop the next flight back, because I was like, thank you. So and it was a shame, because she was a cutie. Very, very
well,
very
the cute ones are always a little bit crazier than the ugly ones, because the ugly ones have some semblance of knowledge. They can't get everything they want. The cute ones, unfortunately, are often more crazy than the ugly ones, because they know they can, in fact, manipulate anyone and get anything they want.
See, I don't know.
Manipulative crazy is worse than angry crazy, and that's the difference. You often get angry crazy with the ugly ones because they're angry because they can't manipulate people, whereas manipulative crazy of attractive women is worse by a nautical mile, because they can disarm you and they can make you think everything is fine, and then boom, the borderline starts. The borderline personality disorder begins.
Cavatano say, he said, just be happy you did not leave the souvenir.
Yeah. Could have been in a family court situation.
We all know the golden rules, man. We all know the golden rules. Do not get crazy.
Resvergam, yep, he just posted it. It's a golden
rule. That's why I'm in a semi situation. Man.
Yeah, you know, when she said I'm getting my graduate from UCLA, it was one of the red flags for me.
But you know something? In 2006, I wouldn't have known that. I'm like, oh, UCLA, because I didn't know. I didn't know. I've broken that rule. I think we all have.
You know, and listen, I know. I want to put out the disclaimer out there. Yes, I'm not making a blanket statement on all people that attend UCLA. It's just so don't if you've attended UCLA, if you're an alumnus, you know, no offense meant. It's you do have a lot of crazy out there.
Oh, Bruce Lombardo says it's all family in Kentucky.
Nice, Bruce. Dexy Doodle says, I'm not sure if I'm offended or not. Machini 90. Hail Machini.
Hail Machini.
Hey, Drew. Hey, everyone. Great to see you. Another monster says, sup, y'all, relax. I'm here now. Plot twist. I've been lurking for a while.
So nice. That's why I was so calm. Another monster.
Nice, another monster.
Here.
I was half expecting him to go, but it was Gio.
I was expecting
it to wind up too.
Godzillionaire, this is funny. Serious here. Back then, there wasn't gender studies, or was there? Because I don't think that was an actual class.
I didn't hear in 2006. That until the past 5 or 10 years.
Gender studies and women's studies have been around since like the late 60s, dude. They've just not always been as common as they always have been. Usually before, it was the second wave version of gender studies rather than the third wave, which we have now, which is all of the my historical oppression, my patriarchy, my wage gap, yada 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 yada. So,
well, here's the thing. Yeah, women's studies existed, but that was in an era where there were only 2 genders. Now, in the era where there's like 150, gender studies has a whole different concept than what women's studies was. Women's studies was feminism. Gender studies is zer, they, them.
Okay, but taking out how annoying the fake genders is for a second, unfortunately, every problem of modern day wokeness, modern day social justice, can be traced back to feminism. Unfortunately, because
I don't know if it goes just all back to feminism. I don't want to just peg it on that.
Well, if you won't, I will blame the feminists for everything. It's all your fault.
Well, okay, but I'm not just saying that because feminism is annoying. The whole crux of this whole nonsense, of this whole social justice nonsense, is a view of history that was pioneered by a guy by the name of Hegel. And what Hegel said was that history is defined by clashing oppressors and oppressed, clashing thesis and antithesis is what he called it. Basically, the only way we understand history is through opposing sides in a conflict. And then a guy by the name of Charles Fourier began the process of applying that theory to the dynamics between men and women, and of course, posing women as the oppressed, and proposing that in an era without God as the moral standard, because this was during the late part of the Enlightenment, when lots of critics of religion and everything were about and doing all the things, and we got the founders out of it, we got Voltaire out of it, so it wasn't all bad. But he proposed that a society should be judged based on how it treats women. Not how it treats everyone, not how it treats humans, not quality of life, not any of that. But a society should be judged based on how it treats women. And there is where you got the crazy from.
Yeah, Dexy Doodle says gender studies have been around for ages. They were a little more sane back in my day, though. A little, not much. If I remember right, what she told me she was majoring in at the time, I think she was going for, she was getting a... she was getting her graduate in, I believe, sociology. So, yeah. But I see your point, guys. And you guys are making all good points. Because of feminism, I have to make my own damn sandwiches. Right, Mitch?
Speaking of a sandwich, I think I'm going to check out gentlemen, and I'm gonna go get something to eat and go to bed.
All right, man.
Yeah,
all right. Tom,
you're actually gonna get sleep. God, this is pretty.
I'm gonna try.
Good luck with it, man. Because you're usually doing a train stream, so I appreciate you being here.
You want a show before you go, Tom? Everyone chills before they go.
Mm-hmm.
Go by.
Shield Mead Radio. That's probably the most undersubbed thing.
Check out Vigilante Williamson.
Check me out. But no, check out Mead Radio. He play when he's streaming. He plays a lot of like themes and stuff. He even played Bat Dance for me. So,
I do Tom for Midnight's Edge After Dark. Anyone that's not already subscribed to Midnight's Edge After Dark should do that. And I can't believe I had to do the show for you, but go ahead. Go.
Yes, please do. Thank you. And yeah.
Com is always abreast of what's going on in the industry.
Yeah, and an ab and a bicep and a tricep.
Speaking of, I think Comix has to check out as well. So I bid you gentlemen adieu, and I'll see. I think some of you tomorrow. If not, I'll see some of you soon. So take care of yourself.
And see you later, brother.
Take care.
Take care.
Peace. Yeah.
Oh man.
I also have to duck. Labor requires rest, and I have much labor in front of me mañana. So
yeah.
I had a great time. I hope you guys can continue to keep the show on the rails, or at least try to get them close to the rails. That'd be really great. And I want to say thank you again to Comix Division for allowing us to run with his project, and for all of you in the audience that have stuck with us, because Dick's Division is really important to us all, and we want to keep this train rolling so that when we get back to full speed, the train is right back on the track, and we are running again with a great audience and a great crew to give you a great show. Be sure to subscribe to all these amazing creators. You have Vigilante Williamson, who I think is just amazing. I love it when he gets a chance to hang out with me on Sundays, and I get a chance to hang out with him any other time. Dalton and his channel, The Authenticator, is really cool. The guy has a unique spin, a unique perspective, and unique videos. So check him out for sure. And he and I will do something. Authentic culture will happen. And then, of course, Drew, my buddy, the Supreme Heretic. Love him a bunch. And everything that he does, not only here on his channel, but also for Bounding into comics is, such a great source for all of us to just kind of, they whittle through a lot of bullshit so that we can, give you guys some great content. They help us gain another perspective, a very analytical one between, Spencer and Donald and, obviously John, and of course our friend here, and so many others. I mean, there are a lot of great contributors over there. So guys, thank you so much. Everybody have a wonderful night. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow on the 6-Minute Daily and the Friday pre-flight. And then we're in the weekend, guys. We got great stuff for the weekend. Amazing shows to watch. All these great creators. So everybody have a great day. Love you all. Peace.
Peace, culture. Peace.
All right.
And then there were three.
Then there were three. I wanted to make a point about feminism, and a serious one. So I wanted to first, distinguish feminism from human rights. Like, I don't think women should be treated unequally or treated in a substandard way just because I'm against feminism.
Women's rights has nothing to do with feminism, and quite frankly, never did. Because here's the thing.
But I got another point I wanted to make.
Go ahead.
Because I wanted to say why it's bad and why feminism does have a huge issue. Feminism is one of the contributing reasons that people with my phenotype and black have a 40% chance of being snorted. I don't want to mess up your channel. It has a very toxic disaster component, and that's not saying that it's a wrong thing, but when you're doing something at that higher rate, it's a lot of and there's a lot of toxicity, a lot of divisiveness, and a lot of leading women astray. I talked actually on my channel. There was a cosmopolitan writer from like the 60s through the 90s who admitted that they lied about a bunch of stuff and they led women astray to sell them shit. And that's all I want to say. I want to add that point about why feminism is bad and how it's different from women's rights. Go ahead.
Picking up from where culture left off, because this is an amazing point and it needs to be made more often. Feminism does not and never did have a monopoly on women's rights advocacy. Women's rights is a completely separate entity to feminism. Feminism is an ideology with premises and axioms, and those premises and axioms are from the basement to the floor or from the ceiling to the floor, complete bullshit. Okay, well, even the first wave is, and I'll tell you why. Because first wave feminism, and a lot of people don't know this. Well, a lot of people didn't know this before, Karen Strawn and the Honey Badgers and a lot of other really great female men's rights advocates started exposing it. But the suffragette movement was started by a bunch of rich women who were bored. There's a perfect example of exactly what I mean by that. There's a woman by the name of Betty Friedan who wrote an essay called "The Problem with No Name," and the problem with no name that she was alluding to in that essay was boredom. It was essentially, "Oh, I'm so well off and so well to do. I have nothing to do with my life." And basically, feminism was born out of that. And what's more, a lot of suffragettes didn't want the vote to become universal. They didn't want universal suffrage. They just wanted the vote to extend to rich, affluent, landowning women as well as rich, affluent, landowning men. And literally often to the exclusion of black men and black women and other minorities, because to quote, I believe it was Susan B. Anthony who said, if black men get the vote before women, then the oppression that black women will experience under their own men will be worse than that black people experienced under slavery. Not even lying. She said exactly that.
All right. We're going to say hail to our boy,
hard transition,
Nickweiser.
Well, this is Dick's division. We always do hard transition.
Yeah, right. Nickweiser. 32 flavors of Nickweiser.
Hey.
Great to see Nickweiser this evening. And listen, guys, my take is this on the feminism topic. I have no problem with the old traditional women's lib movement. What I do have a problem with is, as somebody in the chat alluded to before, was when the movement got taken over by a sort of Marxist influenced and sort of opportunists that turned it into a vehicle for Marxism, the same as the civil rights movement was then later hijacked for the same purpose, and so on and so forth. You can go along the list of all the equality movements, because that, by the way, is what's currently being used to flip around and divide us now. All of that has been taken over by this sort of ideology and this sort of opportunists that want to use these as simple vehicles to push this as a reality construct so that we buy in. And, I feel that was wrong, because women's liberation at its core, it did need to happen, because there were certain things that were being denied women at the time, and that's just historical fact.
But that's why Vigilante and myself both made the distinction between feminism and women's rights advocacy, because women's rights advocacy is totally laudable and needs to happen.
Yeah, and what
feminism is an ideology which is FUBAR and has been FUBAR since the first wave.
Mitch Rogers pointed out what I was talking about. I kind of put it in perspective there, and then that's the problem. Right now, and again, God, we're gonna sound like we're getting into Alex Jones hour, guys. But think about.
I don't know about that. I got a private jet that I can barely afford, but I'm riding on it anyway.
I don't know. Alex Jones could never pull off a bow tie. So
I hate my neighbor.
But anyway, the thing about it is a long time ago, when the globalists got a hold of this, when they really started to ramp up the Marxist ideology. And I think, by the way, this has been in the works for a long time. This whole push towards it, if you pay attention to all the things that bind us together, you guys in the chat, you know this from watching me on Wes's streams, when we talked about the Georgia Guidestones, everything else. Why is everything pushed toward an authoritarian society and a one world government? Well, you guys can all answer that question because you know it's being pushed that way because this was all at the core of the plan to begin with. And okay. I think this has been in the works for quite a long time.
Okay. The thing is, by using the Marxist framing for this discussion, I think people don't realize that most of this ideology actually predates Marx significantly. For example, a lot of the deconstructive bullshit that we all have grown to hate because it takes everything we love and ruins it, comes from a place by the name of the Frankfurt School. Now, the Frankfurt School was founded by a bunch of well-to-do academic, quasi-intellectual types after World War I, because they essentially got shell-shocked so badly in World War I that they came to believe that a world that could cause the First World War had no intrinsic value. And so they started looking at every aspect of philosophy through the lens of there is no such thing as intrinsic value, which is where we get postmodernism, which is when that philosophy is applied to art. It's where we get post-structuralism, where that approach is applied to the sciences and mathematics and so forth. It's where we get essentially Marxism, because here's the thing, and I mentioned this a little earlier. Marx actually was not the first person to come up with his ideology. Again, no. The first person to come up with his ideology was Hegel, who applied the oppressor-oppressed or thesis-antithesis dynamic to all of history, all of culture. That's why I always laugh when I hear the term cultural Marxism, because it's a misnomer. Marxism actually applied to culture first, and then Marx and Engels took it and applied it to economics. In actuality, what we should call Marxism is economic Hegelianism, or economic dialecticalism, because what he called it was his historical dialectic.
Well, people
calling it cultural Marxism is essentially putting the cart before the horse. It applied to culture first, and then some crafty bugger who got drunk one day in Germany, i.e. Marx, took it and applied it to economics, and the rest is history. And everything
I mean, we're getting deep with it here, And
sorry.
We're getting stuck.
We're getting FBI yeetable. So
we're getting sucked off track. But listen, I just want to say I break it down like this. I call it alternate reality bullshit because I truly believe it's meant to be like a psychological operation. It's meant to be.
It absolutely is. It's gaslighting. It's cultural gaslighting. That's a better term.
It's meant
to conquer.
In the case of things like CRT, which thankfully more parents are speaking up around the country in the school districts about their children being taught that in the schools, things like that. It's definitely an alternate in those cases, an alternate reality construct. And I'm trying to, extol the virtues of getting away from that alternate reality construct and rejecting it. And that's what ultimately I think the people in our chat, the people on this panel, we all believe is a good cause. And that's why I'm so thankful we have the voices we do in the community, because there's a number of us that aren't just satisfied with talking about the culture war, talking about Hollywood and pop culture. I like to talk about what's real out there.
Yeah, and that's connected to this so much, it's hard not to talk about it.
Yeah, and I apologize for going a little bit too far afield there, but philosophy is my background.
No,
it's something I've loved since I was a kid, so it's kind of my specialty.
I totally get it, brother. You were on a roll. It's no big deal, but there are some things I wanted to pull in topic-wise that we didn't get to, and I definitely had wanted to talk about that vote today, because if you guys think back to and a lot of you in the chat can remember when I was on Wes's stream that day, when I was in the Capitol on on a certain day.
I was on that stream. I remember talking to you. It was it was dope.
Yeah,
it's crazy actually.
Well, apparently, given the events of a certain day in January, they're trying to right now in Congress vote to start a commission to investigate the events of a certain day in January. Well, that barely, and I want to, make sure I emphasize barely passed the House, and thankfully, the Senate vowed to kill it and not pass it, and I applaud them for that. But it shouldn't ever have gone that far anyway, because most people, common sense people, know the reasons why people were there in the first place, know the facts of what happened that day, and know that, again, a lot of this is psychological operation mixed in, because the way it was reported on,
biggest psyop I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it's all very much the game is afoot, basically. But,
yeah, well, the game is, Drew, the game is rigged. And I've said this before on many streams, and for those who have heard before, I apologize as being repetitive, but this just rings true to the point. When you mention this whole psychological, they are messing with us psychologically, because you can literally see a guy pointing a finger at the Capitol, and they call insurrection. But when there's a burning building coming down on live camera, they call it peaceful. These two things are diametrically opposed.
Yeah,
that is the most psychological mess up ever.
And whatnot. Yeah, that whole thing.
And listen, as much as you say, a lot of people know. My grandma believes a bunch of white supremacists were trying to take over the government for Donald Trump because CNN told her that, and there's no way I can convince her otherwise.
I am so sorry.
I'm sorry to hear, VW.
I'm so sorry for you.
That's how it is. We gotta. They're running psyops, and we're smart enough to get them. Not saying I love my grandma; she taught me so much, but not everybody's gonna peep that, because if you're talking about people of a certain age, they've been watching and believing mainstream news for like 50, 60 years.
Yeah. How do you untune someone who that's their source to validate what they know? Yeah. That's what you got untune.
The good news is the percentage of people that are buying into the mainstream media bullshit is going down, because they release polls all the time. Trust in the media is at an all-time low. This just in, it's at an even lower percentage now, and on and on and on. And you know what's hilarious is it freaks them the fuck out that they are so unfrusted by the public. It freaks them out, and it's so much fun to watch.
Well, the thing is this thing has spread like wildfire, and it's due to, obviously, we got the drive-by media and everyone else, but when you look at it, it's spread into religion. It has totally infected
501c.
It's infected Catholicism big time. The Pope is on the whole, the Pope is an SJW himself now. It's crazy.
Bro, that's what you always do when you want to conquer a people or a culture. You always convert those in power first. That's why they always go. That's why they always go for the corporations first. That's why they always go for the cultural spaces first. That's why they go for the arts first, and that's why they always go for the religions first. Because if you can get the priests and the popes and the academics and all the other influential people on board, then you can convert people over. That's exactly what the Romans did when they converted the Celts to Christianity, by the way.
Yeah, captive audiences, man, and you can see. If you look around you, and most people are free thinkers at their core, because as human beings, we have a longing in us to want to get to the truth. We want to get to the unfiltered truth, but the problem is that is discouraged now. You're treated like a criminal in many ways, even if you go and you dare to ask a question. Now, if you dare to question the narrative or the meaning behind it, you are pointed out to an extreme degree, almost being painted as an enemy of the state. Now, remember, if you pay attention to where this is filtering down, folks, this is it is filtered. Obviously, we know the drive-by media, the Hollywood, entertainment, things like that, but also religion, and then it trickles down to, or probably starts with, our higher education centers, our high schools, colleges, grade schools and middle schools, obviously, with getting into now the CRT thing and trying to manipulate our children that way. But then moving further down, we could see it in the aspects of just certain things like sports or things like that, where you're not to encourage people, one team win over another and things like that. And it's like when did this happen?
Well, they always go, and they always will go for the arts and the games and the fun things first, because that's the core of like the idea space. If you can control the kind of media that someone consumes, you can control how they think, and then everything else is super easy.
And the media is the number one instigator of that, because they control the perception.
Yeah, it's also because at their core, these people don't believe in physical reality. And I know that's an absurd statement to try and counter.
No, that's accurate, dude. Are you kidding me? That's accurate.
But these people live in a world where ideas are the only thing that matters. They essentially believe in Plato's idea of the forms, which that's another obscure philosophical reference, so apologies for anyone that didn't get that. But basically, they believe that ideas control everything else. They view reality itself as a trickle-down thing, starting at the level of idea and then moving down into the physical.
I was going to say I have a great point on that, actually, Authenticator, because you take, for example, and Pat S left a good comment here. I think Snake had the right idea at the end of Escape from LA. Yeah, there you go. And good night,
franchise.
Good night to our wonderful gal Dexy Doodle. Thank you,
Later,
billionaire. Good night,
Later, zillionaire.
But
Hell got zillionaire.
But I wanted to point out the fact that don't forget, even this latest thing that just happened, the quote mass shooting at the rail yard. Even though this dude was off his rocker, he was obviously disgruntled, targeting other coworkers. But of course, they painted it a complete different way. Pay attention to the details that they are specifically sharing. And I want to point this out to you folks, because today I heard this on the radio, because I listen here locally to WTAM 1100, and it's based out of Cleveland, and they're more of a right-leaning station, but, they still report the news from they have ABC News and some other stuff. But anyway, the way that they were reporting this was that they made sure to point out, and this was on one of the national news updates, they pointed out that it was a handgun. So they're coming for the handguns. And we've talked about this en masse, by the way, on these streams before. And they also pointed out high capacity magazines, right? And I put that in air quotes. But pay attention to that wording, because guess what? That means they're coming for handguns, specifically 9mm, specifically those that have, 15 or more bullet capacity.
One wonders how long it'll be before they come for your standard Colt 45s, because the moment that they start taking Colt 45s is the exact moment where I'm just going to be like, nope, fuck all y'all.
Well, it's funny. They were on semi-auto rifles. Now they've switched full on to include handguns. And I've been saying this was coming. This was coming.
You may take the gun that won the West from my cold dead hands. Thank you very much.
I would say the next, you said when they come to Colt 45, the next thing they actually try, it's not gonna. I will not comply ever.
No,
ever.
No, and no one should you.
I was at the drug. I was at the drugstore the other day, getting a couple of my mom's prescriptions. This was the night before all this stuff happened when she went to the hospital, and I go to the drugstore, and they're like, "We have extra vaccine here. We can give you the jab." And I'm like, "I'll get back to you on that. I really have to go." But yeah, I was not taking it. There's no way in hell I was taking it. I don't trust that, and it's just personal choice.
Even without all the conspiratorial bullshit, why would you trust a vaccine that is made like 4 times faster than every other vaccine in human history?
Well,
asking for medical issues.
Yeah, because CNN tells you to, because there's commercials that tell you to. It's crazy.
Because the amount of things. President.
But that's the difference between people like us, I think, and a lot of other people. When someone, even when I was a kid, when someone told me you should do this because I said so, that was the exact moment where I started getting defiant. Like, I wasn't an overly defiant kid, but the second somebody said because I said so was the exact moment where I was like, and nope, non-compliance immediately. Because that's a non-argument, and no one should have to put up with it.
Yeah, is the biggest non-argument ever, is because I said so. Because it's just another way of saying I don't have a good argument, but just take what I say and don't question it, because I can't get from point A to point B.
My thinking justifies itself, and I never need to question or justify anything. Therefore, derp.
Oh yeah, dude, you got that right.
Well, we're increasingly seeing now. Again, this is another line of division. The vaccine thing. Because we're constantly seeing now there's posts and there's stories coming out of people going back to, post-COVID now, people are going out, doing things, whatever. And I know that I saw that someone had posted on their Twitter, they showed that in the restaurant where they were, there was a vaccinated and non-vaccinated section. Yep, literally, the restaurant was divided in vaccinated and non-vaccinated. And I'm like, what is this? Are we going back to having smoking and non-smoking sections, but you can't smoke? What the fuck?
It's another way to pull off the method of divide and conquer. Think about it. Over the years, we have seen straight versus gay, white and black, mask versus anti-mask, lockdown versus freedom, vax versus anti-vax. The more they keep coming up with more things, because the more things they come up with, the more it divides. And it's working, and people are getting played and buying into it, each and every new thing that they come up with to further the divide. Because they're saying, oh, look at, if we expose these differences in people, we're going to make them, it makes them hate each other more, rather than accept people for their differences and makes them hate each other when they should be
about that. I don't think it's a strategy. I think it's partly wrong-headed.
Oh, I think it is.
It's a strategy because it's working.
No, let me explain. I don't think it's a strategy because, like I just got through explaining and confusing everybody about 10 minutes ago, these people are victims of a wrong-headed philosophy. It's not that they think we are that manipulatable. They think that's the right answer. They think everything should be divided in thesis and antithesis. Like I was saying earlier, it's the Hegelian historical dialectic being played out. They want everything in neat little boxes because that's the only way they personally can understand things. And the other thing is, you should never attribute to malice what can adequately be explained by incompetence. And I know they can look very similar, but here's the thing. We saw what happened when these people actually tried to be malicious with the election thing. They are terrible at being malicious. And if they're incompetent when they're trying to be malicious, then that means they're more likely to be incompetent than malicious. Because usually when evil people are actually being evil, most evil people are actually good at it. That's why sociopaths are so charismatic and so prone to manipulating people, because people who are genuinely malicious pride themselves on being good at it. People who are just so incompetent that even when they try to be malicious, they fuck it up, are just ludicrously incompetent on a fundamental and biblical scale.
Okay.
I was going to say,
I fundamentally disagree with you for two reasons. One, I am the one person, and I think the 6 was a work from the completeness, because I think Donald Trump was control opposition. I know that's an unpopular opinion, but that is my belief given how they've been able to make him such. Yeah, I know, but I'll get into it. But they've been able to make him such a boogeyman. They've been able to attribute things to him and demonize those concepts such as capitalism and basic things. But further to the point of why I don't believe it's just somebody used the analogy of piranhas all showing up at once. They don't need a hive mind, and this is just their beliefs. Yes, there are a lot of useful idiots, but there are a lot of powerful people who are using the Hegelian dialectic and using these tools to further their means, to further their control. Yes, there are indeed people who think this is the right answer, but the powers that be that influence all this stuff absolutely believe or absolutely don't care what the right answer is. They're just doing this for power. And I think the reason that the election went so poorly, or their cover-up went so poorly, was to cause the 6th and allow people to participate in the PSYOP. That's been my belief. I've said it other times. So that's why I disagree with that fundamentally.
Right there, Vigilante, is exactly why you should never attribute to malice what can adequately be explained by incompetence, because you right there in those 2 points, in the whole Trump being controlled opposition point, and in the they created the 6 on purpose point, you're basically making them in your own mind supervillains. And here's the thing about supervillains, and this is a very counterintuitive point, so I'm gonna have to explain it. We would rather, on some psychological instinctive level, we would rather the people fucking us over be megalomaniacal supervillains, because then that makes us the put upon hero for undermining it. What's scarier to a human mind is the notion that people in power over you are just as human, just as incompetent, and just as prone to human biases and human failings as every other fucker on the planet. And here's the other thing. People with they call it cluster P personality disorders, like narcissism and sociopathy and psychopathy and all those other ones that often, get elected to positions of power. The one thing that keeps them all in common is short-sighted hedonism and not understanding human nature. They literally cannot, because instead of empathy, they have what's called cold empathy, which is entirely cognitive. The only way they can understand human nature is in these abstract philosophical ways, because they don't have empathy to draw on as a means for understanding human nature. That's why every single psychopathic serial killer that you've ever come into contact with, they all have lengthy philosophical manifestos, and they stick to them ludicrously because that's what they have instead of empathy. They keep to these strict, very specific forms of morality in place of empathy, because most people, they don't need to be told that killing is wrong. They don't need to be told that stealing is wrong. They don't need to be told, because most people on some level work it out intuitively. But these people, they don't have that, but they still have human brains and human psychologies, so they have to fill the hole with something. And what they fill the hole with is all of this, quasi-academic philosophical woo. And when one type of philosophical woo gets very, very popular, that's the go-to. That's why everyone in these positions of power falls so easily into believing this shit.
So everybody doesn't have to follow me out in the Trump's controlled opposition limb That's fine. I mean, he's just somebody who was golfing with the Clintons in 2015. You don't have to follow me on that limb. But what I will say about things being connected, would you go to the other extreme and say there is no connection? But you just said earlier that they attack the arts, they attack the leaders. So are you saying that
I'm not saying there's no connection. I'm just saying there's a difference between people grouping in social groups because they're social animals, because they're human beings, and active conspiracy. And even most active conspiracies can often be attributed to one group of people going, hey, I don't like X group of people, or I don't like Y group of people. Let's, make life more difficult for them and then laugh at them for failing. That's usually what is the genesis of most genuine conspiracies. The point I guess I was making is don't turn the people in opposition to you into supervillains, because they're not. They're just
they can fire me from my job.
No, they're a small.
What I say.
No, there's at the core, it's a very small percentage of people. But here's the problem: their influence is in a very huge sphere.
Yep.
And
And that is the issue.
They can take away your ability to bank.
Yeah, they are.
At some point, you have to.
I'm not saying don't oppose them or anything. I'm just saying don't treat them as though they're these hyper Machiavellian manipulative supervillains.
I was just saying there's a connection behind what they do. That there is a plan. There's a reason. There's a great reset. There's a reason. There's a global pandemic, and you have Bill Gates buying farmland.
Right, but most of those plans, if you look at them hard enough, are actually very surface level and very short sighted. Because again, narcissists and sociopaths cannot plan long term. They have a failure at what's called reality testing. They cannot think in terms of long term because they are hedonistic. I need what I need right the fuck now, and damn the consequences machines, essentially.
Well, here's the thing, and this is like, you want to talk about a rushing of the masses to do something. Now, here in Ohio, okay, mind you, and this is going on. They just had the drawing, and some woman won $1 million for no other apparent special reason other than she was in the vaccine lottery here. Yes. You heard that right, folks. We have a vaccine lottery here in my state. Our governor, in his infinite wisdom, decided to start a vax lottery. So anybody that's vaxxed can go to a website, register, believe it's co-run by the Ohio Lottery. And of course, you can you have a chance now to win $1 million if you are vaccinated in my state. Now, boo-hoo me, I can't win $1 million. My mom, she got the jab because that's the way my mom is. She freaked out and she did it because she believed what was on the news. And hey, look, that's her personal choice. I had a discussion with her. I tried to talk her out of it, couldn't, and I left it at that because I'm not going to push. But I won't get it, and sure, there's a lot of people like, man, what do you do with dude? You can enter that thing. You need, you're on hard times. You should try and get in that. You could win $1 million for nothing. It's like, yeah, exactly. You're gonna win $1 million for nothing. Whoopee. I don't want to do it, and I certainly don't want to do it because I'm being cajoled into getting something that may or may not be harmful to my future existence. Thank you.
Come on, you don't want magnet powers?
No thanks. So I will pass on the jab. Thank you. Even if I'm throwing away potentially $1 million. I'm happy with living with the fact that at least for now, hey, I'm not shooting blanks. So I'm happy about that. So I'm healthy and I'm not shooting blanks. So I will take that.
I'll inject the
mutant powers are worth that.
Inject the
no mutant powers are worth that.
I'll inject the Twinkie in my arm. I mean, that sounds good, especially if it's like one of those strawberry flavored Twinkies. Just pop one of those Twinkies in, get that strawberry juice up in there.
But what if it's the supernatural Twinkie from Ghostbusters?
No,
dude, if it was that like the high C ecto cooler, dude, fuck me with that high C ecto cooler, man. I want a whole 20 pack of that.
The shit. I don't know if they can make them to the specs they did in the 90s, but
if they did, great. I would.
Amen, Wookie. Amen.
Before the thing, yes, you have a 99.8 survival chance.
Cav, it's certainly not tax free. I'm sure the feds would come after it like blood in the water, and then of course our lovely state, the tax rate we have here, they'd come after it for sure. Resurgam says in a few years we'll start seeing Salad My Babies 2.0. Yes, it's true, dude. Nobody knows the long-term effects because they themselves, when they came up with the formulas for these things, didn't know what they were going to do. They were rapid experimentation.
Yeah, they have
warp speed.
And as much as I understand the position that President Trump was in and trying to get a handle on this because you want to avoid, obviously, a public panic, sure, you have to take measures. But the thing is again, and Adega's right with this. He's a former doctor. He knows. I went on a personal regimen of vitamin D3, vitamin C, and zinc every day. Now, I took it at the behest of Adega's personal advice. And guess what? I have never, since this thing started, been sick or anything like that. I've just, the worst I've had is a sinus infection the entire time. I've never had the coof or anything close to that. And that's the important thing to remember here. And you've got companies, as Resurgam's pointing out, pressuring employees to get the jab. You're having there's events, there's certain concerts. I saw that tweet by the Quartering the other day about a concert that was coming to his area, and he decided not to go because one of the requirements to get in was that you had to be vaxxed.
Hey, Drew, before you carry on with the subject, which I'm absolutely want to listen to, by the way, VW has to tune out.
Yeah, it's 2 a.m.
Yeah, all right.
1:30, and I got to get to bed.
All right, V-Dub, take it away. Plug your shit.
All right, man. Thank you for having me, Drew. This is really cool because hosting is tiresome because I work and all that other stuff. So I appreciate the rotating host stuff. Anyone who hasn't subbed, please sub to me. I know there's a lot of familiar faces. I see Wookiee Lives Matter with a new avatar. But yeah, check out my channel. We just had Chrissy Mayer on my channel on Culture Crime Fighters yesterday with me and Fireball Production. Cool. Thank you, man. She didn't like the mask, but whatever. But yeah, please check out my channel. I talk about a lot of stuff we talk about here. I did not do a Vigilante Williamson show today because I overslept. But please check out my channel, and I'll be on Matt's channel next week for Culture Crime Fighters, and also I'll be on Matt's channel probably tomorrow with maybe Nickweiser, maybe Culture, maybe a few of the faces you've seen here today, maybe even Tom because he shows up. So yeah, please check out my channel, and thank you for having me, man. Peace, everybody.
Yeah, Vigilante's a quality sub. Make sure you check out his stuff. He's a good dude.
And for the record, Vigilante, if you ever watch this part, sorry about the argument from earlier. I didn't mean any.
He can handle a good argument. Trust me. I've been around many times. He's had what I guess you could say civil debates with other streamers. Trust me,
Right.
It's not my first rodeo.
I was just saying, because I know sometimes when you're in the heat of an argument, things can, get
of course,
taken out of context and whatever. So just for the record, there is no malice whatsoever between me and Vigilante Williamson.
Oh, of
he
course.
is awesome.
There you go, VW in the comment. It made for great YouTube. He knows. See,
that's
just
right,
me. He knows what's good.
Yeah, but
later, VW.
But even better than that, V-Dub's he's a quality human being. He's a good dude. I'm glad I know him.
Yeah. I've streamed with him a couple times, but I think that might be the first time we've ever argued about anything. Just throwing that disclaimer out there.
And that's what these shows are about, is sometimes a good, healthy debate, because we don't want to just sit there and nod our heads to everything and agree, because if we don't have discussions,
it starts to become a hive mind thing, and that's often when I pipe up, when I see people making rookie philosophical mistakes, like with that's why I got so hung up on the never attribute to malice what can be adequately explained by incompetence, because I know it's tempting to view the other side as these, mustache twirling, cackling villains, but most of the time, what looks like evil is just wrong-headed stupidity. Most of the time.
No,
I'm gonna call it evil there. I'm gonna call it evil. That capital is a cathedral filled with criminals.
Yeah, I will say this, Authenticator. I agree with you mostly, but in this case, it is evil, and I'll tell you why. And it's because most of these people are useful idiots. They're instruments. Okay, most of the people purveying all this nonsense, it's the people behind the scenes, that are in the highest levels of government, that are in, the different industries, that are actively working against and suppressing, their fellow man. That is the true evil, the people that are actually, in on it, pulling the strings. And
I just think most people will be surprised how many levels of useful idiot there are, because I think I believe you. On most levels, even some of the inner cabal, if you want to call them that, are just as usefully idiotic as everybody else. They just think that they are smarter than all the other useful idiots in the room. Because here's the thing. A lot of the globalist nonsense you can blame the world wars for, because the world wars terrified the powers that be so badly that they never wanted to let it happen again. That's where you get things like the UN and all this globalist mutually assured destruction nonsense. It's an attempt to try to make sure that there is never another war or never another major conflagration in human history.
Really? Because they seem to be content with funding regional wars all over the place.
Well, because if they fund the minor skirmishes, then none of those minor skirmishes can gain enough critical mass to become World War III or what have you. It's just like, and this is going to be a really obscure reference, but for anyone that's seen Blackadder, which is a great British comedy show, there was an episode of that was set during World War I, and one of the funniest bits of anything I've ever heard is someone asked the main character, how did the war start? And he basically laid out, in perfect accuracy and in perfect working order, that the reason why World War I even happened in the first place was because the powers that be figured, if we all are aiming massive armies at each other, then no one's going to have the balls to have a war again. The problem, of course, is that it's bollocks. If everyone has a giant fucking gun, everyone's gonna want to shoot it. So therein lies the problem. But most of the major fuck ups of the 20th century are down to the powers that be not actually. They're actually trying to avoid massive conflicts and try to keep everyone placated and passive. But they're failing miserably because that's not how human nature works. And again, the fundamental issue here is the failure to understand how human nature works.
Well, just remember, okay, that all the people that didn't want mean tweets, okay, now you have, and I wanted to get to this topic because I heard this on the radio today, because they were talking about Memorial Day weekend and everybody traveling and the gas prices. Well, have gas averaging $3.07, which is a full $1.07 up from where it was a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to ask yourself, well, how did you get to that? Well, gee, look who you voted for. You voted for this. I tell people that start bitching a lot of times that, hey, you voted for the people that are pushing this platform. They're pushing these ideals, these policies.
The lesser evil voting. Oh my God, the lesser evil voting.
You thought, yay, I'm getting rid of the loudmouth guy on Twitter, and you didn't think of the long-term repercussions or
of the empty shell that formerly known as Joe Biden, that is now filled with whatever the establishment wants him to be filled with at any given time.
With Biden in there, it's back to the status quo of what they know. For them, it's resuming the machine ruling all. And the thing is, a lot of these things, I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Biden was actually honest in this, saying that he was going to stop fracking. And those people who were in that industry still voted for him anyways. He pulled the plug on it, and then they still played shocked. So the people, I'm not going to blame Biden for it, even though that was dumb that he wanted that to happen. But those people who knew that he was going to pull a move that would go against them still chose to vote for him. And they're the ones complain. I honestly feel like at times, because you're the one who voted, you shouldn't complain. You know why? Because you knew what you were signing up for. And if you didn't, well, then you're retarded. You're an idiot for not looking into it.
And that goes for people actually on the left too, because for those that don't know, economically and policy wise, I am technically on the left in terms of policies and stuff.
Okay.
But the argument that I had with many other leftists when it came time for the election was, no, you want Trump because Trump is the anti-establishment candidate. And the only way you're ever going to get any of the concessions you want from the establishment is if you fuck up the establishment.
Yep. That's true, dude. You're right.
But because something orange man's fascist or something, which he isn't and never has been, and that's what separates me from 99% of the other people on the left, is I can acknowledge a blowhard he might be, a loudmouth he might be, thin-skinned and pompous and showboating certainly. But he's never fascist. He's never authoritarian.
Definitely not.
And he was never so stupid that he was in any way a danger to the country. Okay, he's going to be remembered in the same way we remember Ronald Reagan and JFK. Mark my words. Hear me now. Quote me later. And honestly, if he's like any other president, he's probably the most like LBJ, because for those that don't know their history well or don't remember LBJ, he was often referred to basically as the asshole in chief. But everybody loved the tenure he presided over. So
Well, I want to get to just another red shirt's point here. He said a bigger problem leading to World War I was interlocking mutual assistance treaties, correct, and armies that took weeks to mobilize. And that too. It's just so many things, and it's funny because as we talked about earlier with the stuff being taught in the schools, accurate history is not being taught either. And that is because they're so afraid of offending people, or they don't want people to know the certain truths of what happened.
Because they believe that if they can control the ideas, then they can essentially control physical reality, because they think physical reality is inferior to their will. Ideas.
Well, yeah, exactly. And this is again, this is the problem right now with the society and what's going on around it. And it's this artificial construct that I like to deconstruct, because it's bad. It's real bad, and it's pushing people into a literal fight for survival, and that's a thing that I'm worried about, is because we're headed to that after a while, and for the people that like John Cena and these celebrities, these people that celebrate China, what are they going to do when eventually are they going to start championing openly concentration camps here in America for people that have
Cena's got other, like, I guess you could say, I don't know if you want to call them side businesses, but people who support his brand. And I've heard people who I'm not going to name say, oh, well, Cena's got to protect his brand, and people who work for his brand. And I've told these people, I don't care. Because you know why? Because if he bows to China, that could end up being worse for his brand long term. Before you know it, his brand, not just him, but his brand are going to do things that China wants to do. And those people who are not going to want to do it, they're going to look at Cena and be like, why are you doing this?
Well, so it's also going to be bad for time. It's also going to be bad for his brand in the short term, because a lot of the fans of things like wrestling and a lot of the movies that John Cena would show up in, because he's this big macho wrestler, tough guy.
Well, it ain't just that. He has a very patriotic, pro-America type of stance,
right?
To him.
And as a result, a large part of his fan base are the rural, working class, older, or more down to earth generations that tend more conservative. And everyone who was ever neutral on China pre-coup is now quite red pilled on the China question, as long as they've been paying attention.
Well, yeah,
Taiwan is a country.
And real quick, because we got about 20 more minutes to go.
I probably got around 5, so just letting you know. So I don't got that long, but I'll stick around.
Yeah, we've only got about 15, 20 minutes left, and then we're going to call it a stream, guys. But what I wanted to get into really quick, the other topic was, so apparently now a lot of the social media platforms and everything are changing around the rules again about what
always are,
about what you can say and what you can't say about the origin of the coup and where it came from. And it's pretty funny that the quote unquote origin that the people, the powers that be, and the people that think that way didn't swore up and down that wasn't the truth and everything else. Well, now you have some coming out and saying, well, it could have started in a certain lab in a certain place. So, interesting how that happened. So, and even Fauci, God, flip-flop Fauci comes out and even supports that now. But
now he does.
But it's funny that back then, they couldn't say that. But it's like, it's funny how you'll sit there and turn away totally from the truth, and support bullshit just to, make your bullshit believable. And it's just ridiculous. So yeah, I find it interesting. But yeah, Tehillim says,
100%.
100%, dude. 100%.
Nice Super Sons comic panel, dude. I saw that. Love that book.
Man, a 70s rock fan. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. And Adega Outlaw says, Drew can verify. I said from the beginning, this is not an engineered thing. I say magnified as not natural. Correct. Very correct. Yeah, Adega was on that. And, listen, most people, again, and I know you guys are from many different countries, not just Americans in this chat. I'm so really proud of everyone's beautiful minds out there. Because I will say, and I'm giving all of you in the audience a compliment because you do have beautiful minds. You guys are free thinkers. You guys are amazing in that aspect. And I appreciate that about you. And I appreciate that you come and listen to us get into these topics and talk about this. And these are important discussions to have in this day and age, because if we don't, well, we're doomed if we do not.
Well, but that's the optimistic part about this whole thing. Again, the main flaw with the powers that be is by virtue of the psychologies they need to have in order to get into those positions of power in the first place, they don't understand human nature. And as long as these people are pig ignorant to human nature, they will never understand that the populace and the plebs and all those under mentioned that they don't want to deal with are smarter than they think. Mm-hmm. And as long as we're smarter than they think, then we have hope of winning.
Yeah, and that's the important thing. That's why now, and I guess I always just considered this a community. I was never specifically, even though I have my Fandom Bennett shirt on, I was all about the ideals and the hashtag, and I always have been. It's not about, hey, if you're down with this person, if you're down with this person, you're Fandom Menace, and if you're not, you're not, and all that. It's never been about that for me. I've always supported the principles of the hashtag, which was, to call out the bullshit and fight for good stories and fight for our IPs. And in the bigger sense, it's even bigger than the Fandom Menace, because you guys and gals in the audience, you guys on the panel, we're really fighting for a bigger thing than just our culture. It's again, fighting for our existence, and that I think is the most important thing, and we need to continue to keep that going on.
It's funny to hear you say that. It's really funny to hear you say that, because I first sort of came on the scene around the early days of Comicsgate, and the same thing essentially happened with old school Comicsgate versus new school Comicsgate, which most people are aware at this point. New school Comicsgate was EVS coming in and saying, "I own this shit now," and then promptly forgetting all the principles the movement was founded on. But that's a different side story for a different day.
Yeah,
but it's kind of funny that the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Yeah, I don't play favorites. Number one, I'm a journalist. If anything, if I'd say there was somebody I quote down with, I'm down with Bounty into Comics. It's my damn employer. I work for them, and I like those guys. And I'm a writer. That's what I do. But at the end of the day, when it comes to the community, I have my friends. That's all. I have my friends, and I have the audience, and I'm here to just be around you guys and support you, and try to chase that truth. Try to chase the real truth, not hashtag my truth.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That chase the real truth.
The truth, the actual truth.
Yep. And Wookie, you are so spot on that as well. Yeah, it's sad that MLK would be canceled and called.
Same with Malcolm X,
a race traitor today. Yeah. God. Malcolm X would big time.
Well, actually, you know what? And this is the ironic thing.
Very true.
I think Malcolm X would probably be lionized by the modern day. Did
you see the speech? Hold on. Did you see the speech where he talked about the white liberal? He said to not beg for acceptance. He said the white man who goes up to you, this is paraphrasing here, who goes up to you and just accepts you as your friend, that is your brother. That is the man you want to accept. But when you're
Right,
out there
but
begging
he
for
al-
acceptance,
he also-
that is BS.
He also was in favor of things like violence. That was the main difference between him and MLK.
Yeah.
Was
Of course.
he was in favor of a lot of the a lot of what would now be termed sort of Antifa tactics. So in actuality, I think Malcolm X probably would have, had he been alive today, had they both been alive today. It's Martin Luther King who's getting canceled, and Malcolm X is probably going to become the next George Floyd.
I think both of them would be canceled. I mean, you're not wrong about the violence. You're absolutely spot on. However, but it was also him who called out the rabidness of a far leftist mentality. Mm-hmm. He was the one who said, when the right comes in, they do it in front of you, whereas the left, they do it when you're not looking.
Right, and here's the irony about that. How likely do you think the following scenario is? Modern Malcolm X and Martin Luther King are in the modern day. Malcolm X gets shot at one of his own protests and becomes a martyr, and they just sweep under the rug all the other inconvenient things.
Yeah, well, that happens anyway. But the point I wanted to point to was
VW believed in self-defense and black people being armed. Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
The point I want to point to is, listen, you pay attention to things like the situation with Michael Brown, George Floyd, anything that has to happen with BLM, which, by the way, I've said from the get-go, BLM was the biggest grift to hit America. Oh, God, probably. Yeah. Probably since the Gazelle. I remember the thing that infomercial.
It's the same tactic that authoritarians always use. Let's call our moralistic authoritarianism something really, really pretty that no one could possibly have any problems with, and then when they criticize our movement that we've called this really euphemistically nice thing, like say family values or social justice or what have you, then we can accuse them of not being in favor of the general sentiment that we called our movement, and then we can conflate our movement with the only correct way of doing the values that we've espoused. It's the same thing that the conservative tradcons did with the term family values back in the 80s and 90s.
Mm-hmm. Well,
you want gay people to be able to get married. You must be not in favor of family values, derp.
Yeah. Well, again, it's judgment. It's judgment on purpose. It's meant to, it's judgment shaming people, and it's a tactic. It's a tactic. Yep. It's to shame you into quote unquote repenting so that you follow their moral standard. That is exactly what it is. But listen, folks, I know that we could sit here and expound on this for longer, probably for hours. And we got on a roll tonight. We hit most of the topics I wanted to hit. We didn't even get into the article, sadly, but we got into a lively discussion. And I think
we might be able to do those Sunday if you guys are still doing this on Sunday, like comics.
Me Monday, yelling at parked cars,
or Monday.
Yeah, I got the Monday. I got the Monday thing. So yeah. Come by Monday. We'll talk politics there.
That's the Wake Down says, and hail, by the way, to Flop for subscribing, and of course the Wake Down says, been super chatting this quote to people all day. Let's see if one of y'all get it. LOL. If you were me, then I'd be you, and I'd use your body to get to the top. You can't stop me no matter who you are. Oh man, that is a good one. No, I don't know. I say it's the devil, but again, I am Catholic, so to me it sounds like something similar to what I heard on Paul Harvey when I was a kid. And Darius Munchausen, aka Heretic Munchausen, tip $2.50. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. I love you, buddy. Absolutely, thank you, sir. And thank you, folks, for all of the tips tonight and helping the channel. I know that I'm not monetized. I'm working my way there slowly. Your guys' support helps. Terminus S, great to see you, my friend. Got in here kind of as we were winding down. Man, we had a great discussion because you're going to enjoy watching this when you get a chance, my friend.
Speaking of winding down, shall we get into the customary shilling portion of the evening?
Yeah, we are, and we're going to go around the horn, and I'm going to let these guys plug their channels. So why don't we go ahead and do that, starting with the Authenticator.
All right. Hi, folks. My name is Dalton Mortimer. I am the Authenticator. My channel is the Authenticator here on YouTube. I am weird. I'm kind of an expert in weird. I'm weird professionally. I am a 50. I've been a practitioner of the occult for 15 years. I love all things geekery, as has been evidenced tonight. I am kind of a stickler when it comes to philosophy. And I occasionally tie all these things up together quite neatly in videos that no one ever actually seems to watch. No matter how many subscribers I actually get, nobody ever actually seems to watch the videos, which kind of makes me sad. But yeah, my channel is the Authenticator. Please do subscribe. I think I'm at 127 subscribers now. And please watch the videos and comment and like and everything else. I also do a weekly podcast with my friend, the Brainstormer of Pop Culture, over on his channel, Podcast of the Storm, where we kind of cover the intersection of geekery and politics, because unfortunately that doesn't seem to be going anywhere anytime soon. So, meh. Also, I'm a periodic guest on kind of everyone's channel. I actually keep a playlist on my channel of all the guest appearances and crossovers I do, and it's longer than all my other playlists, which is kind of sad. And I'm working on actually making more content, but you know, life continues to vex me horribly. But you can find me on Twitter at the Authenticator, spelled without a U, because Twitter is stupid and wouldn't give me enough characters when I went and made the name. And other than that, you can find me just about everywhere else on the interwebs that you could conceivably want to at the Authenticator, just spelled normally. That's where you can find me. Other than that, I will see y'all later, and cheers, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. All right, we will go over to 32 Flavors of Nickweiser.
Well, Drew, this has been a very fun and productive hour I was here, and I'm glad to have brought a few boys to the yard when I left my stream. This has been fun. Thank you for having me on, and to the super active chat. You guys are all awesome. And well, obviously, I'm at Nickweiser. I'm of the Comix Division. I'm 32 Flavors of Nickweiser on the YouTube. I'm getting close to 400, so get me there. I know most of you are sub, but in case there's a few of you who aren't, help a brother get there. That said, I got Friday Night Comic Chat tomorrow night. We'll be talking about Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin, and then next week I got a Tuesday night stream. We'll be talking about the movie Red Heat from Schwarzenegger and Belushi, and I got Yelling at Park Cars as well, filling in for Comix Division. Well, he is gone on Monday night, so I'll see you all there at those streams, and maybe I'll have a video out while I'm at it. But once again, thank you all, chat, panel. This has been great. Have a great evening. I gotta go to bed, guys. So to all a good night. I gotta get up in 3 hours, guys. All right, take care and be well.
All right. So, you know, I want to say, by the way, Nickweiser, I love you, no homo, dude. You were just
all awesome. The love back, dude.
But I want to say, folks, I appreciate you hanging out. Hopefully tonight I was a good substitute, good host for the Thursday Night Throwdown. I hope you enjoyed the content. Hope you enjoyed the discussion. Now, because what I like to do is always bring up what's going on, keep our eye on the prize, and sort of make it thought-provoking. Make sure that we're cognizant and paying attention. That's all. I'm not encouraging you. I have my beliefs, but I'm not encouraging you to take one side or the other. Just keep into account and pay attention to what is going on in our culture, around our world. Ask the pertinent questions. Don't be afraid to question authority ever. But in closing, I want to say, check out my stuff, boundingintocomics.com. Obviously, my YouTube channel, I'm working towards 1,000, creeping up on 600. I believe we're at 575 right now. So if you could continue to get the word out about my channel and about what you can see here content-wise, because I will have some other videos going up. I do a variety of different stuff, music video reactions. So it's not all like just stuff about the culture war all the time, even though I do speak out about that. And also on Thursdays before this stream, usually, because I come running over to Comix' stream after I do the Pegasus Actual podcast. If you're a Battlestar Galactica fan, you will enjoy my Thursday stream entitled the Pegasus Actual Podcast, because we talk all things BSG, which was one of the last great shows before science fiction went woke. So, come by my channel on Thursdays. If you're a BSG fan, you'll enjoy that content as well. And of course, on Wednesdays, you can see me most times on Bounding Into Comics Live. And I will keep you apprised on Twitter of any other projects I get involved in. So thank you so much. And take care of yourselves and each other. See you soon. And as Steven says, wash your hands, wash your ass. Peace. Good night, folks.